Chimpanzee, that monkey music!
There was this airline, and it's having a lot of problems, and a lot
What,
of
pilot's too tall?
Yeah, the cabin was so tiny.
Only bananas were allowed in the cockpit for fuel.
Anyway, there was a lot of strikes going on, right?
Sure.
Because I don't know what it was about. It was over money or whatever.
Yeah.
And the
Well, get something that doesn't need money.
yeah, but
Well,
But what else could you pay something in,
Well,
Rick? I mean,
peanuts.
anyone would...
So-
okay, peanuts or fruit, yeah.
so anyway, the boss of the airline, he had like one pilot who he could trust, right? And that was his son.
right.
But the problem is with a lot of these planes, you need two pilots.
Of course you do.
And he's like, if only I had two sons, but he didn't. There's no point harping on about it. Right?
Sure.
He runs a airline.
He runs an airline, yeah.
But how many pilots are there? Because there must be loads.
No, there's loads, but the problem is a lot of them are going on strike.
Ah.
And each week you can see that we're struggling here.
But how can they
get?
get? But it was just the pilots that were striking, was it?
Yeah, the pilots were striking, yeah.
So all the ground staff and luggage handlers and all that was okay in the cab.
They were fine, it's just pilots
Right.
were not happy with the deal and what have you.
Yeah.
Well, just close it down.
No
Anyway,
way, you can't do that,
no,
Rick.
I can't.
Of course
You
you
can't
can't. It's costing
do
him a
that.
fortune if he closes it down.
Yeah, but what one plane's not going to make a difference in an airline, is it?
No, it's all the
It's all the
planes.
planes, mate.
Yeah, I know exactly. So if he's only got one person he can trust, knock it on the head.
No. What's the point? You've got to keep going. You can't just nip stuff in the bud like that. If you got a dream, keep it alive.
I know, but not with one plane and your son.
So anyway,
I don't know.
Well, but that's the least of his problems, Rick, because he's got his son who's a brilliant pilot. He's the only guy he can trust. But it takes two people to fly.
Well, you can't fly it then.
so the son, he's flying the planes and that. He's getting worried for his dad because of his business. It's falling
Sure.
apart. He's like, anyway, listen.
Well, one plane won't make any difference.
Don't worry about it. We've found someone who you can work with.
Okay.
And he's like, but I get past the picket line because, they know I'm your son anyway and they'll leave me alone. But any other pilot, they're going to start giving him grief.
They're tearing him to shreds, yeah.
He said, don't worry about it.
Unless he could swing over the heads of all the strikers.
He said he's staying over near the sort of quarantine area where all the animals are kept
Oh,
and
yeah,
stuff.
right, okay.
They won't be looking in there. They won't bother.
No.
So he's like, all right.
There's no animal that could be a co-pilot, that's why.
I'll see you. He'll meet up with you in the cockpit. I'm like,
He'll be having the cockpit, yeah, sure.
So anyway, he gets in there, he meets them. At first, a little bit of a shock who he's going to be working with, but
Why?
he's thinking, as long as I can keep my dad's business alive, I can
Not
keep
with
a
one
job.
plane. Not
So
with one plane.
anyway, what happens is the strike's going on. He's flying. He's
Yeah.
got his mate with him flying, helping out.
Who's his mate? What's his
The
mate's
flights,
name?
the flights are brilliant, right? Everybody's loving them. They can't believe how smooth they are.
Sure.
That, the shares are going through the roof. Everybody's like wanting to
Because
fly.
this one plane they've got.
That wouldn't make any difference.
Everyone's saying, it's only a small plane, but it's worth getting on there.
And
if
it's
you
a
can.
small plane
Sure,
as
because
well.
it's a great
Oh,
experience.
gone under, I'd have thought. There's
So
no
anyway-
way they can keep that alive.
Apparently they can.
So they're keeping
Yeah.
this plane up in the air and what have you, and everybody's booking the holidays. It's almost like the favourite bit of the holiday. They're loving the flights that much.
Why?
It's just because it's really good flights.
It's
I
a
don't
great, it's a great
understand
flight.
what difference
Apparently it's a great flight.
it makes.
It's
I don't
dynamite.
So
understand
anyway,
what difference it makes.
Everyone's happy. Then one day, what happens is a little bit of a problem.
Oh dear. You're not going to tell us that sort of co-pilot Coco he's not able to make it to work, is he?
Well, what happened is one woman who was on the plane got a bit peckish, right?
Right.
And said to the air hostess woman, said, "I'm a little bit peckish. Have you got any sort of nibbles and that?" She went, "No, I got a sandwich." She said, "I don't really want a sandwich. You want some, like the usual stuff that planes give out, just like a bag of nuts or something."
Bag of
What, have they not given those out yet?
So no, they don't give it for some reason. She was like, "Look, we've stopped giving out the nuts. We can get you a
That's
sandwich."
strange,
And the woman's
yeah.
like, "I don't want a sandwich. I just want some nuts." Do you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
A sandwich is quite a big meal and what have you. I just want some nibbles, want some nuts.
Well, that's not available. Done. End of story.
Can't get your nuts. She said, "Well, why aren't there any nuts?" She said, "Well, the airlines had problems and stuff, and maybe that was one of the cutbacks. We've never took the nuts back on." Like.
Yeah, sure.
So she wouldn't just leave it. She wanted the nuts, right? She's having a lovely flight and everything. She said, "I cannot complain about the flight. The
No,
flight
sure.
is brilliant.
Yeah.
Whoever's up there flying this plane is doing a
She's
dynamite
doing a
job.
great job, but I need some nuts."
Right.
Anyway, so the woman
There
said,
aren't any.
"There aren't
Very
any nuts."
demanding woman.
There aren't any.
It's a very demanding woman.
There aren't any.
Look, she's paid big money, right? She's probably in first class. She wants nuts, she's going to get
Nah,
nuts.
there aren't any. Leave it.
If she has to force her way into the cabin to get nuts, she's going to get
Well,
nuts.
she can't go there because she will be shot. Because
So-
with security problems and that, there's no way she could ever go to the cockpit. That would never happen.
So she said, "Well, you're saying there aren't any nuts." She said, "But earlier I saw you put a tray outside the cockpit, right? It had a sandwich on it, 2 Cokes and 2 bags of nuts."
Right.
She said, "So you're saying there aren't any, but the pilot's getting
Well,
them."
aren't they now? That was the last 2 packets. Done.
No. So
Let's go home.
So she's going, you can't have any.
We know,
She goes-
we understand now there's a dispute over
So
that.
she said, well, I'll go and have a word with the pilot myself because you only put him out there a few minutes ago. He can't have eaten them
can't.
yet. I want
You
some.
said you
I'm
cannot
going
go-
over.
no.
I know, this is it.
Yeah.
She was saying you cannot go over. She's going,
No.
listen,
Yeah.
I'm going to go over because I
No,
feel
no,
like
you
I'm being
can't.
lied to.
No, you can't.
So she goes,
No, there's no
and the
way.
pilot can
Well, they
hear all
can't
this
get in anyway.
chat about the nuts and what have you, and he's thinking, what's going on out there?
Yeah.
He opens the door. Right?
Yeah.
She gets a glance in. Little monkey sat there with headphones.
Fucking bollocks.
Right. Ages ago, right, about the 1950s,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
there was this gangster knocking about. And do you know how, like,
Was he called Hairy Fingers?
a lot of gangsters like to get into gambling and that?
Yeah, yeah.
And, like all his peers and that, all these mates who are like gangsters and stuff, they've all bought horses, right, that they take racing and they make money from them and that, don't they?
Yeah.
So anyway, he
And
was
Chuckles the Seagull was no different.
and he was like, yeah, that's a good thing to get into. I might get into a bit of that, right? So he gets himself this horse, right? And there's a big race coming up. That's why he's a bit of a last minute.
And the jockey turns up and it's fine. He's a human jockey and it's fine. Excellent. Okay, well that was another podcast.
So anyway,
please listen.
Oh, hang on,
next.
there's more.
Oh, go
hang
on.
on. So anyway, this big race is coming up. He's
Yeah.
like, I've got to be involved in this
Yeah,
because I
definitely.
can make a lot of money out of my horse here.
Choose the jockey wisely then.
So he says to his mate, he said, look, I've got myself a horse and that. He said, we just need a jockey, get someone
Oh, yeah.
to sort it out and
Yeah.
what have you, so I can get in this race.
Go to the jockey
his-
club. Loads
His
of
mate's
people.
like, yeah, all right, I'll have a word and that, have a look round and that, see if there's anyone decent.
And the
knocking out
good thing
there.
about jockeys is there's never been a shortage of jockeys because a lot of them don't make the grade. So there's always too many jockeys to go round.
Normally, always too many human jockeys.
Yeah, there's never a problem getting jockeys.
Fine.
Go on.
So anyway, he comes
Was that
back.
true in the 50s as well?
It's always been
It's
true.
always been true. It's always just wanted to
There's
clarify
there's no lack of jockeys.
So-
it's sort of close shot. People are trying to do it and they don't make the grade. So,
But in the 50s, from your knowledge, there was not, like in 1951, a shortage of jockeys for just 1 year.
absolutely never. I'd have known about
Okay,
that.
fine,
I'm
you-
quite
yeah.
keen.
Right.
Go on.
So anyway, right. So his mate says, look, I'm having a problem getting a jockey.
Seems odd because
this
Ricky's
is
just
weird.
been saying,
No.
he's just been saying it's not a problem.
What do you mean? So,
Just because the main problem was,
Go on.
a lot of jockeys were aware of this gangster and were saying, I'm not getting involved with this guy. The chances are I won't get paid. He's a gangster. It's not worth it.
would do it if it was a gangster asking you. You'd be scared of the consequences.
So anyway, he's saying, look, don't be coming to me with problems and that, right? I've got the horse. I want it in the race. Sort it out. So they're like, oh, but boss. And he's like, don't give me any of that. Don't
exactly.
sort it out.
They do what he says. So any jockey would do it. Go on.
So anyway, so the day before,
The big race, yeah. Left it to the last minute, okay, but
Yeah.
fine.
and he says, have you got a jockey then? They're like, yeah, but, and he's going, don't worry about it, have you got a jockey? Yeah, but, and he's like, well, look.
He wants
what-
to say, sure, yeah.
So,
they won't-
he's saying, has he ridden their horses before and that? He said, well, yeah, he has, but mainly, and he's like, brilliant. And he goes, yeah, but mainly in like a
in
circus.
the jung,
No, like in the circus and that. He'd worked with horses and stuff.
in the
apparently.
circus.
It's fine.
So he's like, that's enough. That's all I need to know.
Well, they'd be too heavy because circus people
so-
are quite built, aren't they? They're
He said
a bit
so-
heavier than the jockey because the jockeys are about 8.5 stone.
He said, brilliant. Get him down there and that, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, the race happens.
He didn't want to meet him beforehand, he wasn't worried
No
about
point,
it.
not
No,
bothered.
no.
As far as he's concerned,
It's all
he's
sorted.
putting his money on it and what have you. Right?
Sure.
What happened is they were trying to make him put on the jockey outfit,
Yeah.
but for some reason it didn't fit that well.
Sleeves
And that-
too
it was-
short,
it was
legs too long.
It's that sort of problem.
Okay.
So they let him, wear his stuff that he wore in the circus and that, because it's comfortable with that. He's happy with it. Do you know what I mean?
course,
That's what he's
yeah,
happy with.
yeah.
Anyway, race starts and what have you. This horse straight out of the trap and that, high speed, right? This jockey's got a really big grin on his face. He's loving it, right? Everyone's cheering, going, "Who is this? Who's this jockey?"
Yeah.
It's amazing. Never seen him before, and yet look at him.
But they can see his face clearly.
Anyway, Gangster's happy in that because he's won.
But I just want to say the crowd can see the jockey, can they?
What?
The crowd can. I mean, it's
Yeah, but
face
he's
not-
so fast and what have
The
you.
blur, it's a blur, it's all a blur. Rick.
He's good at it. I mean, apparently he was
Right.
close to falling off, and people were like, he's gone, he's a goner.
Right.
He's got such a good reach that he managed to grab hold of
Oh,
the...
Sure.
good reach. Oh.
And
Right,
well, they
so-
could tell he was smiling. They could tell he was smiling, but they couldn't see the detail of his face. Is that right? Just
well,
to clarify that.
it's just blur and that. and
Sure,
you just
but
saw
they
a
could
big
tell he was
teeth.
smiling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they knew he was happy.
At the end of it, do you know, like, the winner sort of rides around the crowd bit,
Yeah.
like, sort of, show off and what have you.
Yeah,
And all the women are there, and do you know, like, women are all dolled up at these events.
sure.
They've all got big hats on.
Sometimes they got fruit on those hats.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, yeah. Right.
One of the women,
In the 50s, particularly, Carmen Miranda was very popular.
yeah.
one of the women had like you say, fruit and what have you on it,
Yeah.
little banana.
Right, some kind of
They're
Cuban
not real.
woman.
They're not real though. The hats. Though they're
Not real fruit, is it?
No, of
Yeah.
course not. Never.
So
But I don't know
Really,
who. I thought they wore those sort of kind of Cuban
Yeah, but
entertainment
even,
shows. I didn't realise they wore them
yeah,
at
but
events.
even if it's like a big event, you know, you might have a hat with fruit, and it's sort of joke, but it's fake fruit because it would
Yeah.
perish.
Well, this jockey didn't understand that. He'd never seen false fruit.
I don't understand.
But why did the jockey suddenly? Why was he so desperate for fruit? I don't understand.
So anyway, meanwhile, the gangster's collecting his 500 quid winnings.
Yeah.
Right, he's over the moon.
Yeah.
He kicks off because of this woman with the fruit.
Yeah, I don't understand. I still don't understand why the jockey would go.
Everyone noticed. Jockey, little monkey fella.
Oh, that makes sense. If he was a monkey, that would make sense.
Yeah.
What year was this? Because I want to.
It was 1950s, and that's where the saying comes from about, do you know, like in Cockney slang, 500 quid is a monkey. He sort of put, he put a monkey on it. Right, there was this
Monkey?
this fella, right, who he had a problem with his eyes, right?
Yeah.
So he goes to the doctors and he goes, oh, I've got a problem with my eyes, and he goes, yeah, they're bad then, right? He goes, it was in America, you know, like how you have to pay for medical stuff and all that, and the doctor said, oh, if I fix them, it's going to be like 10 grand, right? He's like, but I haven't got the money, doctor. He goes, well, I can't help you then. You know, there's a lot of people with bad eyes like them. Can't do anything for you. So he goes, oh, it's getting worse. Can't do anything. So anyway, so he goes home.
Is that the price of human eyes? Is it?
So he goes home. He's looking in the paper, right? And he sort of sees in the adverts at the back, and there's a little advert there saying cheap doctors, right?
No. Bollocks.
Oh no.
No.
So he's thinking, oh, maybe that's what I need, right? So he calls him up. Woman's there. She's like, wait, what can I do? He goes, I've got bad eyes and that. She says, oh, come in tomorrow, we'll sort them out. She's like, brilliant, I'll see you then, right? So he goes down there, and he says, right, you know, I can hardly see, my eyes have got in really bad state and what have you.
Right.
Need to have them sorted out. I don't know what you do, whatever you do,
Right.
I need
Now,
doing.
his eyes are so bad. Can he see the doctors?
Not really,
Can't
sort
really-
of
he's
squinting
squinting.
and that, but, you know, so he's like, do I need to see the doctor to, you know, have a word and tell him what problems? She's like, no, don't worry about that.
Don't worry about
Just,
No, I'd be comfortable if it's a
just you know, just let me inject you, and we'll knock you out, and we'll get on with it. And it's like,
get the
well,
doctor in.
Can I just tell you something about chimps as well, just before you continue?
Go on.
You know, they don't have opposable thumbs.
Now,
which is
why
what-
are opposable thumbs useful?
Well, to grip something, to do anything like, you know, even simple stuff like writing, so let alone surgery. So without an
But
opposable
can I just check
thumb-
now?
Go on.
So if I was a doctor and I was doing any form of difficult surgery, would I need opposable thumbs?
You'd need opposable thumbs
To be a doctor,
And without
okay.
you couldn't do anything. You could.
Thanks for clearing that up.
Because the opposable thumb allowed something in our evolution called the precision grip.
Right.
So without that, you couldn't do anything.
I'm just glad they've got that cleared up. Thanks.
So anyway, so he's had the injection, he's nodding off and what have you, right? His eyes are sort of closing and that, he hears the door open, he sort of just sees this little fella coming in, he's like, hello doctor, he's trying to like, make a chat with it,
Sure.
but like, he's just nodding off. No, just,
Oh,
he
never
or
call
she,
it doctor.
he or she.
These people have done 7 years medical
Deeply
training.
respected people.
How could you call it it?
so anyway, he thought, oh, it's weird he didn't answer, but you know, doctors can be quite moody, you know, they're highly intelligent, they don't need
Especially little hairy ones.
well, just idle chit-chat, there's no room for that, do you know what I mean? It's like, I'm
Yeah,
here to do a job.
yeah, but you know, if I'm going in to have my eyes done, I want a little bit of idle chimp chat.
So anyway, time passes, right? He sort of wakes up and he opens his eyes, right? And it's brilliant. He can't believe it.
Eyes are perfect.
He's had the op. He can't believe the sight. He's like, nurse, right? And the nurse comes in because I can't believe it. This is brilliant. I've never had this such good sight. Do you know what I mean? Even when I was a baby,
Yeah.
and my eyes were new,
Yeah.
I didn't see this good.
Great.
So she's like, well, you know, that's
You realise the nurse is a panda.
that's what we do, right? So he said, right, so can I just see the doctor and just say thanks and that? She's like, well, to be honest, you know, he's specialised in what he does. There's a lot of
What
work.
a load of bollocks this is getting.
Please.
Where did you get this from?
No, come on. Let's hear the end of the news.
There's a
Wow.
lot of like operations he's got to do.
Yeah.
So you know, leave him to it. He's just having a kip. You know, I'll let him know that you were grateful. You know, pay us a check. Off you go. Go and enjoy looking at stuff.
Yeah.
So he said, no, just what's wrong with that? I just want to see that. Just
No,
like,
that's
no,
fine.
leave it. Just leave.
Yeah, exactly. Leave it. If
And
he
he's
says-
like, yeah, but I can't. You know, I want to thank him. So he's done such a good thing for me. So they're getting into a bit of an argument and what have you, and the voices are raising, right? Door
I'm
opens.
going to wake the doctor up.
Well, that's what they did. They woke it up, right?
They
So-
woke it up.
It.
So the door opens, right? little monkey comes out,
Oh.
and he's like, what's going on here? It's a hospital. Why is there a monkey knocking about?
Yeah.
So the woman said, well, what do you mean? He's the doctor, right? So he's like, you are having a laugh, aren't you? She goes, look, don't complain. Your eyes are sorted.
Yeah.
You know, the doctor's done it. What's the problem? He said, well, if I'd have known that, I wouldn't have come here. She said, well, what do you mean you didn't know that? She said, the advert in the paper you read, it's like chimp doctors.
That is the biggest load of shit I've ever heard. That really is the worst.
What? And because his eyes were so bad, he thought it said cheap doctors.
He saw the advert and it said chimp doctors, but because his eyes were bad, he just saw it.
What journal is this in?
It was years ago, because it sort of says how the monkey sort of carried on working for a few years. He couldn't do anything
Then
about
just
it. He had to
retired to
leave
play
it.
golf.
It's absolute bollocks. There's no way. I mean, it's not even worth talking about.
So-
It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
It's the most ridiculous monkey news you've ever heard, and that's saying something.
Oh, chimpanzee that monkey news, you little brown-headed...
Right, years ago, people only drank water, didn't they?
How long ago are we talking?
Going back a bit,
Okay.
and it was just the norm. Everybody was happy with that. It was kind of like, what, you're thirsty, have some water. It was just what you did. And it was more of...
Well, no, not only water.
No, it was. It was kind of like...
They drank milk at birth, didn't
Yeah, as a baby.
they?
But then you don't have that when you're older. What I mean is more now, as we've discussed, is more of everything. So...
I thought there was fruit juices in...
Yeah, but what
stuff.
I mean, when people were thirsty, it was like, well, have water. They didn't go, what do you want? Do you want this? Do you want that? I'm just saying they had it for a purpose as opposed to something for the taste buds. Right?
Yeah.
So anyway, so this town, right? It was in the middle of nowhere somewhere.
It's the detail that makes the story,
Yeah.
isn't it? The pinpoint accuracy of detail. So it was a while ago, and it was in a town somewhere. Brilliant.
In the middle of nowhere.
And what used to happen is barrels used to appear, right? These sort of, do you know like how they have wooden barrels, that beer and that comes in?
Right.
One of those used to just be in this village, and everyone who lived there was used to this sort of drink that used to crop up, right? Well, because they were used to it, they didn't question it. It was kind of like, yeah, it's what happens if you live here.
Sorry, so I don't understand. So what's in the barrel? It's a barrel in the town square.
Well, it's this drink.
and
right?
so it's not water.
It's not water.
It's a mysterious other drink.
Well, I'll tell you now. It's like a fruit drink.
Okay.
And back then, I mean, I speak to my mum, and she didn't have a banana till she met my dad, and they were made up of fruit.
Sorry, is that some euphemism?
I don't know what that means.
No, but what I mean is
Was that he came a-calling with a banana? No, with a bunch of bananas and some flowers.
No, but what I'm saying is, it was like a fruit drink, and for years and years, people didn't drink fruit. It was an eating thing. Do you know what I mean? It was an eating thing.
It was eaten.
Yeah,
What, in winter?
it was. You're thirsty, have some water. What? You're hungry? Have a banana. Have an orange.
Sure, but
whatever.
the idea of combining the two, crazy.
They never used them in that way. So anyway,
So a mysterious fruit-based drink is turning up mysteriously in this town for years. No one questions it. No one thinks they
yeah,
just
just
think fine.
because it's in that area. I'm sure, like in
Here
the same,
come the little man.
no,
Lilt.
but in the same way that in Scotland they'll have fried Mars bars and that.
Yeah.
They don't bat an eyelid at that. Yet when we go there,
Well, no, they didn't appear mysteriously. did
They didn't just appear one day.
I assume they go to the newsagents and take it home and pop it in some batter.
but what I'm saying is they don't think anything's odd about that. But as time goes on, people have started travelling more, haven't they?
Ooh.
And
You have.
visitors sort of came in to the town, and they were saying, "Oh, I'm a bit thirsty. Have you got any water?" And they were like, "I don't have water. Have some of that in that barrel." And they were like, "What's that?" And they go, "Oh, it's a drink." So they had it, and it was really like refreshing. They were like, "What is this?" And they said, "Don't really know. It just crops up."
Of course they did.
No.
It's what
No.
it's what you get if you live here. It's part of living here.
Right.
So they were like, "Brilliant. Do you sell this?" And no, they don't just sell it. We don't even know where it comes from. Just have some whilst you're here.
Don't even know where it comes from.
No.
So the thing
Bollocks.
is, this helped the town out.
That's
because,
before the monkey appears. This shit.
Yeah.
So all these people are enjoying the drink. Word gets out, and
Yeah.
it went on for a couple of years, but they say it travels fast, doesn't it? If it's
Yeah.
if it's good news, it travels. If it's good news or bad news, it travels fast.
Yeah.
So
But,
news travels fast.
Yeah, just news. Yeah, news does. So anyway, so some
Fucking
business,
monkey news doesn't. This has taken half an hour.
so some big business fella who was on
Oh.
holiday in.
Any specifics?
He was from Chicago,
Right.
Oh,
and
interesting.
he
How
flew
tall
in.
was he?
Hold on, though. So, this is after Chicago was founded.
Yeah, Chicago's knocking about.
Oh, they had loads of drinks then.
Yeah,
they had
alcoholic.
coffee,
Yeah.
tea.
alcohol.
Yeah, they had every drink under the sun.
Yeah, but not like
Every drink under the sun.
Not like-
Apple juice, grape
No,
juice,
they didn't.
ciders, wines. Yeah.
So he came in.
Chicago was founded.
He came in.
Probably 19th century. Oh, there's loads of shit about.
And he was saying, this drink you've got here, he said, it's good stuff, you know. He said, whose is it? And they said, well, it just appears and what have you. And he said, well, that's a bit odd. So anyway, he got a bit annoyed with it because he wanted to take it back with him to Chicago. He knew there was an audience for this.
Well, yeah, because they got bored of tea, coffee, all the other drinks that were available.
Drinks and that, yeah.
So he waited
Mead.
at night.
They've been around for years.
Waited behind a truck.
A truck. Also,
So we're in the motorised age.
So at least 1890 something. I'd have thought.
And he saw this little fella bring the barrel out.
How little was the fella?
It's hard to tell in the dark, and they were quite far away. And the barrels, you know, it's hard to work out.
He was short. His arms were long.
So they followed him in, right, and saw what was going on,
Okay.
like how it was being made. And they said, you know what, we can have a go at making this ourselves. And what happened in the end, they tried to imitate it in Chicago. There was a orangey tang, right?
It was made by an orangutan, wasn't it?
And do you know grapefruit juice? They had like grapefruit juice that they were good at crushing the fruit with the feet and what have you. And that's how them two.
So it was great ape fruit drink.
Yeah.
Which probably got abbreviated over time.
Ape fruit juice.
No, it was great ape fruit drink. It was because it tasted great.
That is a load of shit, Carl.
Right, do you know, in the first podcast that we did, we chatted about the monkey that went into space and stuff. So where we left
So
it,
haven't you got a new monkey news?
well, it's an update, isn't it? I mean,
Is
all
it new? Has
No.
it happened recently? Has it happened since podcast 1?
I have to pick Ricky up on the point that he thinks any of the monkey news we've heard, A, happened, and B, happened recently. It almost always happened in olden times, or ages ago.
Oh, you're right. It never happened.
Right, anyway, so like I say, the first monkey news, it was about this monkey that went into space.
This was the one that was fed by bananas that came out of a little chute on the spacecraft.
Yeah, it went up there, did a really good job. It was taught how to press the buttons, hit the left button for a banana, you know.
Right button to
go right.
Whatever.
Make history and go
Go
to
right and
space.
stuff. Right,
Oh, what do I want? Not more banana. You haven't taken off yet? More banana. Oh, we shouldn't have given him a choice of banana or a change history. We should have the right button. We should have fed him before he went and only had a right button. He's at the left button again. He's just eating bananas up there. What's going on? It's costing us a fortune. Hey, little fucker. Press the right button and do something. Oh, bananas. Hey, hit the left button again, the little fucker.
so anyway, yeah, I told you, he went up there, he came back, he could never get that
The high,
high
exactly,
again.
yeah.
You know what I mean? He tried other things. I think he tried to get a band together and that. Right, so anyway, there was loads of monkeys that were signed up to this NASA program, and it was 1961 when this little monkey called Ham, that was his name, so a bit of an update, that's the same one as I talked about, his name was Ham. As well as him, there was one called Enos, he went round the world loads of times. So anyway, what I've found out about it since then, Am went up there, did the left-right business with the bananas. Enos, they didn't put as much work into the trip when he went up there, and something went wrong with the machinery. And do you know how you get a banana for the left button and all that?
It's official now. There's 2 buttons in this spaceship. Banana dispenser and everything else. The right button is everything else.
But it worked the other way. The machinery went weird.
Oh, no, really?
So it meant that the right button would give him a banana.
Right.
The left button did everything else.
Oh, no.
How does
So
that, how
what-
does
so
that
what
happen,
had been
though?
taught- This is the problem with electronics, isn't it?
Well, no, I don't think
Apparently this is the problem.
But the good I mean, honestly, look it up if you want. This is all online, by the
So
way.
what happened when it all went haywire? What occurred?
Look, Carl, this is online, and it's bollocks.
Luckily, Enos, because he'd done a few trips,
Right, he
so
was
he was like,
experienced.
well, I know this isn't right. As much as I love bananas, this isn't right.
That was his thinking, of course it was.
So anyway, so he came back. They were all like over the moon with him.
He
you
said,
know
I
what
can't work with these conditions.
Good mission and everything. Well done on working it out. He sorted all that out. It moved on a few years, Armstrong's gone up there, Buzz and that other fella, they've been up there, the monkeys aren't needed anymore. But they were like, we've got all these monkeys who have done NASA training, what are we going to do with them all? And they had to raise £14 million to make them like an old sort of chimps home for retired
Retired NASA-trained monkeys.
Chimpanauts.
Something they've got in there is like a little museum, right, of all the missions and that they've been on, so they can sort of, even though they're not going to be going into space again, they can almost relive it and reminisce of the times that they've had.
They're reminiscing with each other, are they?
Just sort of going, oh, remember that time when it all went wrong, the button became the left when it should have been the right and all the rest of it. They just, you know, sort of talking about old times and what have you, like old people like to do.
Sure.
And yeah, that's it. So if you want to like give some money towards their home, you can go to like savethechimps.org, and it's all there. All that information that I've given you, it's all there. You can.
I'd be surprised if all the information you've given us is there.
It's all there.
I'd be very surprised.
It's all there. Just retired, you know, monkeys and that who have done the bit.
Perhaps we should retire Monkey News to that same place.
That's what I mean. So, you know, I hope you've enjoyed the monkey news and that. That was the last one. Look after the monkeys. Do your bit, because they've done their bit. That's it, yeah. But just because I'm not giving the news, look it up. Do you know what I mean? It's all out there. Don't be ignorant.